the last election was, and I've always argued that elections generally tend to be about getting rid of a government or endorsing a current government rather than electing an opposition. But last year there were policies that the National Party and obviously the ACT Party and New Zealand First adopted that struck a chord with New Zealanders, and one of those related to the issue of co-governance and Three Waters, and the co-governance part of Three Waters, and also the view that there had been a creeping, if you like, tendency in the public sector of this country to gift and give particular rights to Māori, utilising the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi, and that those had expanded like Topsy and had made and created great discomfort in the wider body politique, and particularly in rural provincial New Zealand about that. Well, one area that has sort of bucked the trend to a certain extent is the Hauraki District Council. At the last election, they had elections. Their current mayor, Toby Adams, was re-elected without opposition, which I imagine made him very happy. But when I look at the people who are elected to the council, it is what I would call a traditional council. It seems quite white, if you like, and sort of rural by comparison, and small business people and retired folk, sort of normal composition you'd have of a district council. Well, the council has decided that they would like to, in actual fact, kororo, they would like to have a chat. In fact, they're quite keen on extending or having a Māori ward, or establishing a Māori ward. They don't currently have one, and they are consulting of that. However, and as I understand, they've made a policy decision, we'll find out in this moment when we talk to Mayor Toby, that it is a good thing. But that has been cut across to a large extent by the government's decision that if you are going to have a Māori ward, you must in actual fact have a referendum. Coming to talk to us about that and whether or not one is appropriate or not is the Mayor of Hauraki, Toby Adams, and he joins us now. Good morning, Your Worship, how are you?
Good morning. I often get called as Worship, so Toby's just fine with me, mate.
That's all right, but you're getting called Your Worship anyhow because you have an official title and a status, as you know, Toby. All right, mate, let's go. Why are you bringing in a Māori ward? I've just looked at your election results, the last election, and I don't see any Māori names there, but I could be wrong. Do you have any Māori on your council at all?
Yeah, no, we do. We have Councillor Reno Wilkinson, who is a second-term councillor,
right.
And he is most definitely Māori, but just came through the normal polling system. Huge asset to our council, as with all our councils.
So why do you want a Māori ward?
Hey, this has been something that's been talked about for a number of years, whether it should be in, whether it should be out, whether we should have polls, and we've had polls. And we were obviously given that piece of legislation through the previous government that we could just put them in. We waited. We talked to our iwi partners here in Hauraki, and we wanted to get an understanding of what was a good way to have a working partnership with iwi, because it's an important part of our district, and it plays an important role in the decisions that we make. They were quite adamant that now was the right time to have a Māori seat sitting around the council table. So we introduced that. We introduced Māori wards, that we could have Māori wards within our council, and that was a massive turnout by, I think we had over 150 people in our council chambers on that day, and it was voted unanimously, which was something great. So we then had to make a decision the other day on how the representation looks going forward. Okay,
but from what I understand, you won't be able to enact that decision without putting it to your wider populace in Hauraki. Is that correct?
The way I understand it is that they'll be in for this election, for the 2025 election, the next upcoming one. And then we'll have to have, through that triennium, we'll have to hold a poll and representation review should it be upturned or changed from the public. But at this stage, we're going out with the numbers to how it can all fit with Māori wards.
Can I ask the obvious question? Given the policy of the coalition government, but just given democracy in general, why wouldn't you have trusted the people of Hauraki with a referendum on this issue anyhow?
Yeah, the governments come and go, and we'll work with whoever's in government. But just because they make a rule down in Wellington doesn't mean it's going to suit everybody throughout or New Zealand. And for us in Hauraki, we do what's right for our community, and we want to make sure that we've got the people that sit around our table that really truly represent the makeup of our community. And Māori makes up nearly 20% of our community. So why would we not want some input?
Can't Māori stand for elections? Do you ban them from standing for elections?
No, don't stand them. Don't ban them from standing for elections. But there is a Māori ward, a Māori electoral roll, and when you stand for council in Hauraki, it might be different everywhere else, but we have wards. So we've got our Paidor ward. So people that stand in Paidor can only get voted in for the people that live in Paidor. Same for the Plains and Waihi. So those people that are voted in those wards are only voted in by those people that live in that area. So it's kind of exactly the same. So those that are on the Māori electoral roll can vote for someone in the Māori seats.
But I'll come back to this, Toby. If you know what democracy looks like, why wouldn't, and you're making essentially a constitutional change, you're saying to one particular ethnicity is going to have their own representative or representatives, why wouldn't you trust all of Hauraki to vote on that issue rather than just the elected councillors? Like, for example, how many of you didn't go the last election with this particular policy because there wasn't an election? How many of those councillors went to the last election in 2022 and said, if elected, I will work for a Māori ward? I'd suggest to you probably none. So why wouldn't you, with such a major constitutional change, ask your own people what they think about it?
I don't think it's a constitutional change. I mean, Māori wards have been around for a long time, and there's some councils that have had them for a long time, and they were quite effective. I've always said that I work for the people of Hauraki, and I'm passionate about everybody that lives in the Hauraki, and I want to make decisions that benefit everyone in the Hauraki, regardless of what race, what ethnicity, what upbringing, what financial, whatever you've got going on, that when we make a decision, we're taking into consideration each and every person that lives here.
I've looked at Māori wards. I don't know if you have looked at their effectiveness. You've just said that they are. But I've noticed how ineffective they are at drawing Māori to vote, and that the average turnout in Māori wards still is less than 1 in 5. Have you considered that as part of your decision?
Yeah, and in the past it's always been a bit like that. But we've got iwi round that sit around our rohi, and they talk about what's right for them, and we've had what's right for council and how we can work together, and we had those discussions and said what is the best way going forward to have a good working relationship so get good outcomes for everybody, and this is what they wanted to try, so we'll give it a try. And they turned out in droves to our council meeting, so it then comes down to voting day, and hopefully we get good turnout.
Well, you won't.
Good turnout.
I mean, I think you can reasonably assume you'll get a bloody poor turnout, Toby, because that has been the experience of Māori wards in your neck of the woods. You've got a regional council. I think it was the first council in New Zealand, I think, to have Māori wards, the Bay of Plenty Regional Council. The turnout there is atrocious.
Yeah, but if you always go on assumptions or on the past and not keen to try it again, you just don't know the answer. So until we've tried it, we don't know the answer.
Well, I think there's a story, isn't there, about always repeating the same mistake. You tend to get the same outcome, but okay.